As you know, gays and lesbians have fought literally for years to be accepted by mainstream society, to be recognized as a valid minority group, identified by their sexual preferences. Men choosing to have relationships with men and women with women. But now come these people who say that that should not be the case. They say that gay men and women can be cured of their homosexuality. Joanne Highley says that through her program, she can actually change homosexual men and women into heterosexuals. She herself, you should know, is a quote-unquote reformed lesbian. Alan Phillips has been a homosexual for over 30 years, but now he says he is no longer gay after going through what is called the L.I.F.E program. Frank Joseph is the founder of an organization known as Wake Up America. It is a group that is trying to spread its message that homosexuality should no longer be tolerated and that it is curable. Rick Notch is another person opposed to these so-called new ideas. He describes himself as a former ex-gay leader. You got to follow me. What I mean is that he was supposedly cured of his homosexuality only to realize that it never really went anyplace. Dr. Charles Silverstein is an activist. He is a counselor. He is also an author who has been active in the gay community for 2 decades now. He thinks that this surge, and I guess it is quite a surge, in groups claiming to cure homosexuality is ridiculous, since gays and lesbians are born homosexual, not made that way. Okay, so that's the issue. Can gays and lesbians go straight?
I have a question for the woman in the red. I just wanted to know how many years you were a lesbian and what made you change.
I was lesbian from ages 13 to 23, and I've been free of the activity and the condition for 35 years. I've been married 35 years.
If it is indeed biological, is it also considered hereditary?
Dr. Silverstein, you want to deal with the hereditary or the biologicality?
If I can just ask one question,
the question
Geraldo.
was the question was asked.
Oh, go
Well,
ahead.
I got one question. That the doctor or whatever his credentials were,
PhD.
PhD, what credentials does he have to say that there's any studies that says that any male or female child is born as a biological factor gay? I've never read any studies.
Well, first of all, I didn't say that.
You said it's inherited.
No, that's not what I said. I said it was biologically determined. I didn't say genetic. There's an important difference.
Well, how do you define biologically
I didn't
determined?
come here to get into an argument with you.
Well, you're wrong.
I'm not
You're misleading the
going to.
people.
There's a wide body of research done by researchers in the United States and in Europe about the endocrinological origin of homosexuality. It's not conclusive.
There's no facts whatsoever, doctor, that states that any male or female is born gay. It's wrong.
Is this an example of Christian love that you're doing right now?
Wait a minute.
Please do that.
If you're a Christian, you tell the truth.
What I would like to distinguish between is sexual orientation and sexual behavior. What we know is that sexual orientation is biological, but the capacity to love and to express love and one's specific sexual behavior is learned within a society.
So you can be gay, you feel physically, but act out heterosexually. You know, choose to be with a woman.
Well, you know, there's a great army of married gay men.
Right.
And that's an important factor.
I just have a comment. I'd like to agree that gayness is not something that you're born with, and that
right.
This is something that's acquired, and it's definitely against what the Bible.
Okay. That's right.
Why do you say that it's something that's acquired?
Because, like I said, I don't agree that someone is born gay or lesbian, and it is against what the Bible has to say.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Stand, please. Thank you.
Is it contagious? That's all I want to know.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
You afraid you're going to catch it?
Sure it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Frank, is it contagious, gayness?
It's not contagious in the form of disease, but I think, and this is just what we're trying to do as an organization, we're trying to inform people. It says, as Americans, we're going to draw a moral line and say, is it normal for 2 men to get in bed and have sex? They say it's normal, and one of our positions is, if it's so normal to be homosexual, then why do the gays want to pass laws nationwide to adopt children? Because it's not normal for 2 men to get in bed and have sex. They cannot reproduce life. I've done talk shows. I've been all over the country, and they say it's normal. It's normal when a man and woman get together, they consummate a relationship, and through that relationship of sex, they can produce a life. The woman can get pregnant. The men that are gay, they say, oh, it's love and incapacity. You can't reproduce life. You can't, and you want us to change our laws in the United States.
I think we're
to
straying from the point of can homosexuality be cured. Rick, were you cured?
Oh, no.
You thought you were?
I was deluded. I had been a teenager who didn't know anybody else in the world was gay. I became a very religious Jesus freak, was what it was called at the time. My religious involvement sort of put whatever I felt about sex on the back shelf until I was about 18 and older, at which point I had some chance encounters with some other students who were gay. It scared me to death. It caused me to run deeper into my church world, which eventually led to my being involved with the ex-gay groups. I was sent by my church in '78 to the annual convention the ex-gay ministries have each June for a week to find out.
These are all cured former homosexuals.
Well, that's what they said. And I went there to find out how our church could set up a ministry to help gays change. And ironically, I had never before in my life been with a group of gays at all. I mean, they all claimed not to be gay, but these were all men and women who had been gay. So what happened at the convention? There was all sorts of nice talk. I was starry-eyed. It all sounded great. I later learned that many of those who would talk about their ministry work and how good it was going and such were falling into bed with each other at night during the convention.
During the ex-gay convention?
Right, the ministry leaders. And this came out the next year the convention was closed. Only the ministry leaders could attend. The first year anybody could attend.
What message do you draw from that?
It's a lie.
You believe that Joanne Highley's work is a lie?
Yes.
No.
Yes. It is a deluded, very sincere on her part, I believe.
But here's a man, Alan, okay? Mm-hmm. Alan says he was once gay and he is no longer. What do you say to Alan?
I believe he needs to find a professional therapist, a qualified therapist to help him work through whatever he has to work through to come to accept himself, because you're being gay. You cannot change it. You had no choice about it. Why on earth would anyone choose to be gay when they have to face the hatred spewed out by an idiot like that?
Wait a minute.
Oh, it is not a choice.
Wait a minute.
It is not a choice. The only choice we have is to learn to accept ourselves and to find a way to live a responsible, moral life.
Frank, to maintain the decorum, I'm going to apologize for Rick to you for calling you an idiot.
Well, first of all, I haven't pointed finger.
People who disagree are idiots.
We're not trying to take and say that we're a hate organization. All I'm doing is saying, wait a minute, faith comes by hearing. All I'm doing is throwing some ideas out there and saying, as adults and being 21, that there's a ministry in Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's nationwide. It's called Capernaum Ministries, of all ex-homosexuals, men that live the lifestyle. I've talked to them, and they are cured.
But let me ask you a question. Are they cured, or have they just said, I will sacrifice my desires to be gay because society frowns on it? Isn't that what they've done?
No, they said that they felt that they were confused, they were misled, and I say birds of a feather flock together. You can't soar like an eagle if you hang around with pigeons. You go to a gay convention and try to come out, you're with a bunch of people.
Do you think gayness is a crime?
Yes, I do. I think sodomy is a crime.
Should Rick be placed in prison for making love to Charles, say?
No, but I think that his lifestyle being forced on America, where they want to teach it in the schools, homosexual acceptance, where they want to get married and have the same rights as you are if you were married to a woman, I think it's dismantling the family unit. Pardon me?
I am married to a woman.
I know that. I didn't mean to say, I know if you're married or single. I wasn't implying anything, but I'm saying is they want to dismantle the whole social structure of the family, and it's wrong. I don't care what he says or the doctor says. It's wrong, and it's true.
I don't understand why you don't care what they say if you are interested in intelligent discussions. Why can't they
because he says it's
be
not
sincere
true.
as you?
I live in a committed marriage relationship with one man for the last 5.5 years.
You're not
lifetime
normal.
Commitment.
Yeah, it's not a commitment. You're confused, you're lost, and you need somebody to help you. Geraldo, would you sit on my lap and do the show?
I went through 10 years of personal
wait. I was asked a question there.
Wait a minute. I want to ask Geraldo just a question. If he
Frank asked if I would sit on his lap. No, Frank, even if I was gay, I wouldn't sit on your lap. I'll be right back.